All right, my friends, I have to tell you, as nationals are coming to an end right now, and we're starting to think about the next season, our new season ahead, you may be thinking that some changes need to be made to make sure that your competitive teams are full of joy and friendships. And honestly, let's be real, less stress. Less stress. So, in this week's episode, my friend Erin, oh my gosh, y'all get Erin times two. Um, she's going to be joining me today so we could share really a few tips on how to go about crafting a competition culture that aligns with your values. And that's a huge, huge deal. Um, because so many times I think that we get into things with, one idea, one vision, and then sometimes we feel like it's straying and we don't know how to get back on the right path. Um, and so, you feel like, oh, what am I doing? So we don't want you to stray. So y'all get ready. If you're joining us, say hello. We want to know that you're there. If you come back in on the replay, because we also know that this time of year we have a lot of friends who come back in on the replay because of it's that time of year. Really, so if you come back in on the replay, we want to know that as well. So you could drop a little hashtag replay, join in the conversation. This is meant to be an active conversation. And if something just like resonates with you that you're like, oh my gosh, that was a little nugget that I am so glad that I came. Let everybody know in the comments because then if they do come back in on the replay, they know to lean in a little bit closer and take note about, oh, there was a little nugget that was shared. If you've stumbled upon this somehow, y'all, I'm Erin Bird. And since you get an Erin times two, I'm Erin Bird, and I support dance studio owners and educators to really grow their businesses um, while creating their own unique vision of success, which I think is really, really key. Without burnout or overwhelm or sacrificing your personal life, because the truth is you don't have to. You get to decide. You get to decide. And sometimes we just need a little help from our friends. We need a little help and support to navigate that and to really get you to where you want to be. So that's what I do. Um, and my friends, I have to tell you that if you want a copy of today's show notes because you like to be able to like just read something, grab it real quick, just drop the word show notes below and we will get that to y'all as well. So say hello. We want to know that you're here. We also understand that sometimes there's a little bit of a delay and with the new streaming things that have come out, sometimes I don't get all the comments from all the different places that we're streaming at once. So know that we will come back if we miss something and we will continue that conversation. I'm going to go ahead and be quiet, which is really hard for me. I'm going to bring in my friend Erin. I'm going to let her really introduce herself, and then we're going to really dive into this conversation. Good morning, Paula. Good morning. Um, I know, right? I'm bringing you in right now. There we go. Okay, yay, you're here. I'm gonna go ahead and let you introduce yourself real quick, and then we're gonna just get into the dirt. We're just gonna talk about this whole topic and really share with us. So go ahead, Erin, and introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Erin Pompa. What am I? We're so many things, right? Well, first, I started out as a dancer and a dance educator where I ran a high school dance program for 14 years. And I went on to teach the art of creativity at a college. And now my main focus is I am a youth speaker in many capacities. And one of those capacities is for dance competition teams. So I travel around giving talks to dance competition teams, helping them build not only their character, but their creativity and their ability to tap into their artistic expression because both goes hand in hand. And I got here because I worked and taught in an inner city. And a lot of the students there didn't come from dance backgrounds, but they were accepted into my program because of their potential. Well, a lot of mindset stuff was happening for them because when we go out, we would see these dancers at their age and they're at higher levels. So how did I help my students understand that it's okay to be where you are, and then also how to not take things personally, how to respond and react with dignity and grace, and also how to tap into their artistic expression. And from that, I have some students who never danced a day in their life, like by training. I sent many of my students to college for dance. Many of them are dancing professionally. So if I can get the student that hasn't had prior training to go there, what could we do with students that already have exceptional training? So that is me.
That is, I love it so much. And I love, over the years, just kind of seeing your journey as
Yeah.
well and the evolution of you. Because I think that's something that I actually is really kind of ties into this conversation, actually, in that we sometimes we start something
Mm-hmm.
and we grow as humans, as
Mm-hmm.
people. And so our desires might change or they might shift slightly. And this is kind of ties into this because sometimes I've had clients who come to me and say, oh my gosh, like, I've been in business for 20 years, let's just say. And, we did things a certain way for the first decade, but then it started not feeling good.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how to change it now. Right, and that goes back to mindset and whatnot. But it's okay to shift, it's okay to change directions a little bit and or tweak things to be in alignment with who you want to be,
Mm-hmm.
what your new vision is. And so even just being able to kind of, I watch others, as well go through the different shifts inside of their business and things of that nature. And um, you know that sort of thing. So absolutely love it. Um, so I'm going to be quiet for a quick. So I know that you talk about this a lot. And so, let's just dive into it. If people aren't feeling um, like it feels good, like it's in alignment, their comp team isn't in alignment after this
Mm-hmm.
last season. Do you have some little tips or tricks that one or two that you're like, you got to look at this?
Well, I have a framework. I mean, I'm not a tips and tricks person per
I love it.
se,
I love it.
because I feel like that's what a lot of people want, the quick fix. And if I'm going to be honest with you, anything that you want to change and evolve and grow is not going to be a tip or a trick. It's going to be a lot of consistent work in any area of our life. The one thing I will say is if you don't feel like your competition team is or your dance team is in alignment, give yourself grace. Remember that team dynamics change year to year depending on the students and what they walk into that room with. And also, it changes year to year based on what your faculty walks in the room with and you walk in the room with. So, with that being said, the question then becomes what strategies can you put in place that will help your team be effective and feel good, even with the ebb and flow of students and teachers and of you yourself? And the first thing is acceptance, right? Accepting that the climate of student has changed. I've spoken in so many places. I was an educator for 14 years. Now they have technology. Now they have social media. That has imprinted on the mental health of our students so much. That packed in with what some of them may be experiencing at home. So the first thing is accepting that and not resisting it. I can't tell you how many times I've just heard in passing people say, oh, these kids, because of social media. Okay, okay. But like, instead of like complaining about it, how do we accept it and then do the things we need to do so that doesn't become a barrier in what we're trying to do to build our teams and to build our students?
I
That's
love that.
number one.
I love that. I 100% agree with you in that we need to look at this as an overall, not just, I sometimes we say the tips and tricks, right? And I am going to actually talk on that. And this actually, here we go,
I
tip
don't
and
know
trick.
why do I have a thumb? You saw my thumb? I don't know.
Yeah.
It does it. I don't know how it does it. And Erin, I wasn't putting down your tips and tricks at all.
No,
I
no,
get
no,
it.
no,
I
no.
totally understand.
I agree with you. But here's what I would say is that I agree in that accepting it. Like stop trying to fight it and take it one step further and leverage it.
Mm-hmm.
Leverage it. If we know that this is our reality, use it to your advantage,
Mm-hmm.
right? There, with everything, no matter what, there's good and bad. There's good
Mhm.
and bad, right?
Mhm.
And so use the good, use it for good. If you know that social media is a thing, you know that these kids would rather be doing a TikTok dance or whatever on the side, then maybe that's a reward, right?
Mhm.
Like after they work hard, maybe that's the reward is they get to teach you a TikTok dance. I don't know, but like use it, leverage it instead
Yeah.
of trying to fight it,
Yeah.
right? And so I absolutely actually like that, love that, and that thinking about it as a whole, like, okay, yes. And I'm gonna say this right now, y'all. Hold on. It's not just our students that are different, it's humans.
Mhm.
It's adults, right? I can go into some studies. I was just doing some research about even as adults and our attention spans.
Mhm.
Are right, like all of those sort of things because of social media. It's not just the kiddos. So let's not do just as kids these days, like
Yeah.
y'all. So anywho, sorry, I digress. Um,
No, right. You're right. I mean, everyone.
so I love it. I'm gonna go in here and like put a little note. Okay, I'm gonna
Oh,
put this up on the screen for everyone because it was so good. Yes, I have my students translate their TikTok trend dances into ballet vocabulary, and it's a great way to bridge the gap.
I
So
love that,
good.
Kelsey. That's so good.
Like, yes, leverage it, use it, stop trying to fight against it. That's a tip and trick that I think everyone is going to take away today.
Absolutely.
I think that's
Yeah.
so good. Okay, so coming back in here is acceptance. So I love it. So, okay, so that's number one. I know we're going to move on to the next thing.
Yeah. Number two is knowing that there needs to be some kind of component of mental health support, but you can do that without being a mental health provider. That's the thing I want you to know. In this climate of students, and I've seen it firsthand, there's so much internal pain and comparison that they're going through, and it all surfaces with their negative thoughts. So the next one is really figuring out, and this is what I teach people how to do and what I go in to do, is how to help your students identify and shift their negative thoughts. Normalize the idea of negative thoughts. And there's activities you can do. Like you can do an activity, put a finger down. You can do the backpack activity. There's so much you can do. But what often happens with dance teams and competitions team is that you're so busy getting busy for the thing that you forget that this could be incorporated in every class session and take like 10 minutes,
Mhm.
5 minutes. So it's like having those activities to help normalize the discomfort that your students are feeling because they're acting out, they're unmotivated, they're isolating, they're bullying, they're rude, they're giving an attitude, they're not taking corrections, not because you're a bad teacher, but because of what's going on in their head.
Mhm.
But they don't even know what's going on in their head, and then they feel guilty for what's going on in their head. So, what kind of activities and practices can you bring into your competition team on a continuous basis to normalize the idea of negative thoughts and start to have them take ownership of their actions and how they respond and what they do or do not do? So,
I
that's
love,
number two.
yeah, I love it, and I think it's so important because sometimes we think I've had different people come to me and say, "Oh, I'm gonna bring in this particular workshop," which is great. I'm not hitting it,
Yeah,
but a one and done is not the approach,
right,
right? We need, like anything, if we were to, teach our students something and say, "Okay, we're going to teach it to you once. Now you're perfect. Let's go."
right.
That would be unrealistic. Our expectations would be unrealistic, right?
Now, I go in to do ones and I hear great feedback, but I have not done a case study to see, okay, let me see where you are 4 months from now. Like I get the kids are more confident, they're all the things, and that's great. And I still love doing that. But
Yes.
then it came to me like, what is the continuing education piece
Hmm.
so that it stays? Because you, like you said, Erin, you could have that person, like people that go to Dance Teacher Web,
Yes.
they're going to the seminars.
Hmm.
You find the workshop that you're vibing with, you're all lit up and inspired, and you're like, yes, I'm doing this. And then what happens? If you don't get the support of the program, and you just use what they gave you, you get busy in
Hamster wheel.
life and you don't see it through. The same for our students. They need
Yes.
continued support.
Yes, absolutely. And so this is where I think it's so important for us to, when we're um, thinking about this, and thinking about, okay, our competition teams, or, it doesn't necessarily even have to be our competition teams, but when we're thinking about things, is what's our intention and what's our objective. And
Mm-hmm.
so if our objective is to kind of shift some things, create a competition culture,
Mm-hmm.
let's that's what the topic of today is, that aligns with my values and our goals. It's putting in the time and the work, and starting with the, okay, here's the I won't say the one-off thing, but here's the initial
Mm-hmm.
information, here's the initial buy-in, right? And that could be done through a workshop, through, those sort
Mm-hmm.
of things. And then, but the people who are going to get the most from it are those who are going to continue staying in action and making it and implementing and making sure that it's part of their culture. It is part of just who they be as a
Mm-hmm.
studio, right? And so I love that, whether it's you, whether it's us coming in, whatever reason.
Oh no, you froze, Erin. Oh no, I'm still here. Host, join the broadcast. Okay. Hi guys. I don't know if you can still see me. How are you? Give me 1 minute. Host left the broadcast. I think Erin's coming back. Host joined. Hey.
Okay, it just said no, no, thank you this morning. I guess I don't
No,
know.
we're good.
My internet
Yeah.
was like, no, you're done. You're done. Anyway, okay. Um, but it's about that support and,
Mhm.
mental health support, and really like infusing it into their classrooms. So, um, classrooms practices, like,
Yeah.
what does that look like? Okay, yay,
Thank
Michelle's like,
you.
I have you both. Yay.
And the thing is, it's like, I know with competition teams or even in regular dance classes, you're like, oh my gosh, we have to get ready for this. I don't have time. There is a strategy, and that's what I teach, a framework on how you do it within 10 to 15 minutes. Or if you want to make it longer, you can make it longer. Like, there is time when you shift the idea of how you work, right? Like, you don't have time because you're used to working in the way you are, but when you shift the way in which you work, you will see there is time for it, because then everybody adapts to that new way.
Hmm. Well, and I agree with you. And I think that it's being intentional,
Mm-hmm.
right? If we come from a place of, okay, I know that my objective is to create a culture that's in alignment with our values, right? Then I know that I need to be intentional in the way I work, in my practices, in what I show up with, or what our lesson plans look like, or as a leader, like creating and making sure, that your staff are, following the framework, that they know how important this is, the why behind it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I think that's so important. So yes, I think that, so acceptance, mental health support, and then did you have a third one?
I do. Exploration. So
Mhm.
I know that everyone that teaches in a studio setting doesn't have compositional structures and devices background.
Right.
That's totally okay. You don't have to have that background in order to allow your students to explore. So, what the idea is, they have these concepts. Say you do the quick activity of normalizing negative thoughts and helping them shift it. That day, you do put a finger down, and then you say to the students, okay, I want you to write down the one negative thought that was really sticking on your mind. They put it on an index card, and maybe they share it, and everybody in the room raises their hand if that one is loud for them too. And
Mhm.
then maybe you pick the loudest one that was for everybody. Then you do, and I give this in the curriculum that I have, but then you do a quick exploration using something that I call the BASE method. Body, I have to remember it all. Action, timing, body, action, space, timing, energy. And that's not something I created. It's the choreographic elements. And
Yeah.
it's really simple. Like, where are they in space? What action do they take?
Hmm.
Right? What's the timing? And then you give them improv to do, or a
Love it.
choreographic challenge to solve. And literally, it doesn't take forever. And then at the end, they have this nugget of work. But what it really does is helps them process their emotions in another way. It makes them very uncomfortable because improving and trying new movement is very uncomfortable, and they will resist you at first, but it's beautiful by the end of the journey because you're going to start to see your choreographic process be more enjoyable. You're going to see your dancers being more daring and more inventive and using more artistry. You're going to see them connecting to the emotion and not just the music.
Mhm.
It's really beautiful. So it not only leads them to process their negative thoughts, but it also helps them process their um I forgot what I was going to say, but something else.
It helps them, it just overall, I think exploration is actually
Yeah.
really a great nugget in that we know when we explore ourselves, when we explore movement, when we explore our
Mm-hmm.
emotions, like no matter what it is, you become more you understand
Mm-hmm.
yourself more.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that okay, story time real quick. We
Mm-hmm.
were watching my daughter put on America's Got Talent,
Okay.
anyway, the competition show. And there was someone, a contestant or whatever, came on and said something about basically like, they were given a record deal prior to going on and they didn't know who they were. Right. And so it was really hard for them to navigate. And they wrote this whole song about it, or whatever. And it was really beautiful. The reason I'm telling you this is that it actually, my kids were like, yeah, it's hard to know who you are when there's so much noise,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I think that it's just a beautiful thing. It's yes, and I think, oh my gosh, I'm going to share this because this was such a good little note, Michelle. Excellent tips that I can see be used beyond competition.
Oh, thank you, Michelle. Number one, and absolutely. I speak specifically to competition teams because that's who brings me in. And I
Yeah.
find that I don't know, that's who brings me in, but it really, I would do it in any dance class. Even
Yeah.
if I only saw them once a week, it would help so much.
Well,
Yeah.
and I can absolutely see, as I obviously not in this capacity, but in my other capacity as executive director for our nonprofit, I can see it as I work with different public school systems, and we have, elementary through high school age students that we're working with. I can definitely see even in their classrooms as they're exploring things or they're, whether it's their theater department or, like I can definitely see how this could be an amazing tie-in, because it works. It's things that they need to do, and mindset as a whole is the thing that just has to shift, and we have to really work on with our youth and our student adults too. I mean, if we're going to be honest, y'all, I work with a lot of studio owners who have to shift their mindsets.
Yeah.
And I always say it's always them against them. Like it's never
Yeah.
about all the other things happening. It's really what's happening in here.
Well, it always comes back to us, right? Everything
Mhm.
does. It's like, I love the saying, it's not the thing that happens. Hardship happens all the time and difficulty, but it's how we respond to it. And like
100%.
the perspective shift, like it's so crazy. I could be looking at one thing one day and be totally up in arms about it, but when I have the power of a perspective shift, I could look at the same thing and be able to release the control it has over me.
Yes.
um but
Yeah.
you were saying a story, Aaron, finish it. So that you said the value. Yeah.
Yeah. So the really, like after that, it made me really think about, so like my own kiddos, who um, are pretty, competent kids and, and that sort of thing, and they do their thing. But as they're navigating through, tween and teenager years, really trying to figure out their own identity and who they are, like
Yeah.
as humans, and that could be really challenging. And so it could be, um, there was a lyric in that song that said something to the effect of like, I don't ever share what I'm like my inner thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
I'm afraid of what other people
People will say, right.
judge, right? And so it was just a really interesting conversation and like catalyst that I didn't
Mhm.
expect to happen from
I
watching
love
the
that.
show. But I think that that's where, if we can normalize these
Mhm.
thoughts and we can talk about them inside of
Yeah.
our classrooms and as we're prepping and really,
Yeah.
making it being intentional about it. I think that it's imperative for us to have the culture that we want,
Right.
to align, right? And so
Yeah.
I think that these are, I mean, my gosh, these three are absolutely amazing. And can I tell you, you guys, I have
Yeah.
to share real quick. I am so excited because Erin and I have been friends for several
I
years.
mean, it might have been. Is it been 5 years?
Probably, I mean, the pandemic changed again time perspective.
Yeah. It was like, wait, was that? It was definitely more than 3 years. So, Erin,
Oh,
I knew you before I got married.
yes.
Yes.
Yes. And I'm so excited because y'all, we are going to both be presenting a dance teacher web in Vegas. And I know, right? Like, I'm like,
I get to hug you.
I know. Y'all, we were so excited. Like, when I found, Erin's going to get to come and present, which I'm so excited for the attendees, number one, just to be able to come to your workshops and, like, learn because every time that we've worked together at any capacity, people always come back to me and say, "Oh my gosh, I loved Erin's session." Always, 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 y'all. So I'm so excited for everybody, and I'm excited to be able to like hug you for
Me
realsies in
too.
real life, because
Yeah.
we're on opposite ends of the US.
Yeah.
And so I'm super excited. And my friends, I have to tell you, Steve over at Dance Teacher Web, he's so
He's
great.
awesome.
I love Steve. And so him and I were chatting, and he has done something really amazing. So if you have not gotten your ticket to Dance Teacher Web yet, A, y'all, like time's a ticking. I'm looking at the calendar right now. I'm like, I leave in 3 weeks. Like my
I
plane
know.
is on the 31st, right? And so not that it's too late. It is not too late. But because he knows that sometimes there's last minute people, and him and I were chatting, um, you guys, he has given me a secret special discount code. Yeah, right? Like, so he gave me a discount code for any of our viewers or any of our, people in our community that still want to attend Dance Teacher Web. Y'all, it's happening August 1st through 4th in Las Vegas. Super easy to get in and get out of. And here's the plus because you know me and I like to supersize things. So if you register with the code. So if you want the code, just drop DTW in the chat below. If you want the code, I will give you not only the discount code, but if you then register with that discount code, you're going to go into a little contest. And the reward or the prize, I guess I should say, for that contest is if you are chosen and out of that group, one person, I will be paying for your first night hotel stay.
Aw.
Yes. And on top of that, everyone who uses the discount code will also get a free laser coaching session from me while we're in Vegas together.
Wow.
So, y'all, if you would like that secret code to get you in not only the discount on your ticket to Dance Teacher Web, but get you a laser coaching session, but get you in for that price of your first night stay. Drop just DTW in the chat below. And okay, so Michelle said you're both are so aw.
Thank you so
Michelle,
much,
so much.
Michelle. That's so nice. Thank you. I saw the
Okay.
comment come in and Erin was talking, and I was just like,
Oh. And here's the thing. Okay, so Chelsea, I'm going to tell you. I know that you're feeling some weird resistance to this.
so wait, what? To the DTW or to the content?
I think yeah. Is it to attending DTW? Is that what the weird resistance is?
Because we could talk about
Right. When
it.
you come to Vegas, you know me, we could talk all about it. And what I'll do is you drop DTW, so I will get in Messenger to attending. Okay, I will jump into Messenger with you, and we'll have a little chat about that. And then I will also give you that special code.
Can I
Um,
say something?
absolutely.
Well, first of all, Chelsea, like I want you to know, you are a rock star. Like, I'm being serious. You said I'm feeling resistance. Do you know how many people don't even say I'm feeling resistance and just are like, I'm not going or I'm not doing anything? Right. And resistance isn't weird. It's tapping us into something that we need to look at within ourselves. And for me, my resistance is usually built off of fear. Like, I'll just give you a quick thing. I'm thinking about investing in this program and it's a big ticket item for me. And I feel some resistance. And my resistance is coming from fear. Is it the right thing to do? Is this, is that? And I need to slow down. I need to gather my thoughts, organize them, talk to people, 3 people that are really like pillars in my life, and then come from a sound decision and not let fear lead it. So I just wanted to share that because your comment really, I feel that, I get that.
I think that one of the things I can say from, and I hope you don't mind me sharing, Chelsea, is we've worked together before. Chelsea and I have worked together before, and she has done such an amazing job at really looking at, okay, is this a factor feeling? Is this fear?
I love that.
Is this resistant? Why is this resistance? And still doing the scary thing,
Yay.
which I absolutely love. And you're a total rock star, Chelsea. And so you and I, we will talk in Messenger, and I'll get you the code for Dance Teacher Web. And yes, I know. And you are a share, and I love it so, so much
I love
because
it.
here's the thing. There's a lot of people who are listening to this. Maybe they're on, I have someone who told me, I'm going to be on the road, but I'm going to be listening like as I drive across the country, and so I'm sure some of this is really resonating with them as well. And
Mhm.
so they might not be able to comment, but through you sharing, you are helping others identify
Mhm.
kind of things that are coming up. And so you and I will chat, Chelsea, more about Dance Teacher Web and that special
That's so
discount
awesome, Erin.
code and all the things. Like, I think it's going to be so, so good. And y'all, I don't want to take up too much of your time, Erin, because I know you have a full day. But is there any one last little, if someone came to you and you wanted to give them just one little like note, and I think even just talking about that resistance was amazing, um, about this kind of idea about creating a really great culture or feeling like things need to shift, maybe what would, if I came to you and said, Erin, I don't know what to do,
Yeah.
what would
I
you
mean,
tell me?
I would just say, like, take a beat, take a breath,
Hmm.
and realize it wasn't changed in a day. And if you're going to change it, you're going to have to change it. Like, insanity is doing the same thing over and over. And I would leave them with this. Listen, values are so important, but sometimes I feel like and I know I did this in my early years of being a dance teacher and owning a business, we stick words
Mm,
without, like, dedicated, committed, hardworking, loyal,
right.
but we're not teaching them how to do that. And you
Mhm.
might say, like, in my dance classes, I'm teaching them how to do it, but they don't even know how to do it because their mindset is not molded to help them embrace it. So I
Mm.
would start there. Stop, like, your values are great, but start thinking about the internal work and the exploration your students can do to embody the characteristics of the value and not have just the word value placed or the values placed as words.
Well, and I'm going to say my little nugget to that, or my little add on to that, is that why? What's the why? And sometimes we do things to just check a box instead of actually knowing the why or the objective and being intentional about it. And so sometimes, like you said, we've created those words. We're like, yes, and we checked the box and we slapped it on the wall and we said, best fit things. But if you're not teaching or explaining the why behind that and the how, right? You've given them the what, but not the how.
Mm-hmm.
Not really fair, and nobody is going to be on board with it, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love that. Okay, my friends, you get to, if you come to Vegas, you get to see Erin times two.
I love it. I love
Erin
it.
times two in person. Um, as I'm always explaining to my students what they are learning, we are learning grit, we are learning attention to detail. They are working so hard and need guidance to see all the layers of growth. Yes, so, so good. So, my friends, if you come to Dance Teacher Web, you get both of us. And
Yay.
we both are in whether in business mindset lab, there's a couple different rooms that are happening there. And so, y'all, if you need information on Dance Teacher Web, I am more than happy to share above and beyond the, discount code and all that fun stuff. And so we hope that we will see you, everyone here in Vegas. If you
Yeah.
come back on the replay, we want to know that as well. And let us know, what is your like nugget from today. I know that I love that Chelsea said this content is really lighting her up today. And so I love, love, love that. So
Oh, she
don't be
said
a
that. Oh, I love that.
yes,
Oh,
I
thank
know.
you.
And so, my friends, if you come back on the replay, like I said, we want to know that as well. Um, we want to honor your time. We appreciate and really love that you guys joined, who are here live, joined us live, coming back on the replay. We understand that as well, and we just love being able to share with our community and hope that we can share a little bit of joy, a little bit of understanding, some mindset tips, tricks, strategies, business strategies. That's my goal here every single Wednesday when I come on live. Um, oh no! Well, I mean, not oh no. Oh, amazing new grandbaby, but
Congratulations. That's
glad that you're not going to
beautiful.
be there. But understandable. Understandable for sure. All right, my friends, we're going to leave you there. I hope that you had amazing week, or you have amazing week. I will be back next Wednesday for another episode. I believe we'll be having another guest, different topic, which is so so exciting. We're kind of like rounding out before I go to Vegas for just kind of some guests and some fun things before we get there. And I'm so excited about Vegas because it's gonna be so so good. So y'all, we're going to leave you there. I hope you have a fantastic week. Don't be afraid to share this with somebody you think that you needs to hear this today. And if you have questions, do not hesitate. Both Erins here are willing to chat with you and to really support you, right, and your journey. So we're going to leave you there. I hope you have a fantastic day, my friends, and we will see you very, very soon.